All right, welcome back. In part one, we talked all about the Gemini the world gets to see, that brilliant, shiny surface. But now we're going deeper. We're going to look at the engines, what's really going on under the hood, what truly drives you.
Yeah, last time was all about those external traits, right? The quick wit, the adaptability, the person everyone meets and is just fascinated by. It's kind of like the tip of the iceberg, what everyone sees sticking out of the water. But today, we're going underneath. We're getting into the real stuff, the core motivations, the deep down drivers that make you you. So, you ready? Let's dive right in.
Okay, first up, this insatiable question. And look, we're not just talking about being a little curious. For a Gemini, it's like breathing. It's a fundamental state of being. And to really get how deep this goes, I've got this incredible story for you.
So picture this. A man is literally on his deathbed. His friend leans in and asks, "What's it like? Dying." And his answer? It's just pure, unfiltered curiosity. No fear, no sadness, just, this is interesting.
So what does he ask for as his last wish? Not for a loved one, not for some final comfort. Nope, he asks for a book on astrophysics. I mean, get this, he has hours left to live and his brain is still hungry, still reaching out for more knowledge.
And that one word, hurry, it says everything, doesn't it? The urgency isn't about hanging on to life, it's about cramming in one last piece of the puzzle. It just shows that for a Gemini, curiosity doesn't just stop when life does. It leans right over the edge and asks, okay, what's down there?
This is what our source material calls the "don't die wondering" syndrome. And it's so perfect. It's this deep, primal need to know, to experience it all for yourself. Tell a Gemini, don't touch that, or stay away from them, and you've basically just painted a giant, flashing neon sign on it. Forbidden isn't a warning, it's an invitation. And it all boils down to one simple little word. Not what, not how, but why. And here's the magic of it. Why is the one question that never really has a final answer. There's always another layer. And that's exactly why you never, ever stop asking.
So all that questioning, all that seeking, it keeps the mind constantly buzzing, constantly fresh. And that leads us perfectly into our next big driver, this unaging spirit.
I mean, every source agrees on this one. You're the Peter Pan of the Zodiac, always searching for Shangri-La, for the Emerald City. And these aren't just fairy tales, right? They're symbols of a deep, powerful refusal to let life get boring or stale. It's this constant hunt for wonder, for that feeling that anything is possible. There's actually a great word for this, juvenility. And let's be clear, this is not about being childish. It's about holding on to the state of being youthful as a core part of who you are. So, what does that actually mean in real life?
Well, it looks like this. Lively sensibilities. That means you feel things with a real freshness. Speed of reaction. You're quick on your feet, mentally and physically. You've got that spontaneity, that predisposition to just find joy in things. And of course, that classic Gemini restlessness in, everything. And here is the most important part. This is not vanity. This is not about wanting to look young. This is about your fundamental architecture. Your spirit is literally built this way. The body follows the mind, right? And your mind never, ever sits still long enough to get old. That restless spirit we just talked about, it needs room to move. And that brings us to our third core driver, which is maybe the most non-negotiable of all. This primal need for sky, for freedom. And don't think of this as just a preference. No, this is like oxygen. The sources are really direct about this. They say, for Gemini, freedom or death. It's that serious. There's just no middle ground. That's why you can feel almost paranoid about being confined. A boring job, a clingy relationship, the same old routine every day, it feels like an allergic reaction, like you physically can't breathe. But here's the beautiful paradox of it all. If you try to hold a Gemini down, they're gone. It's just instinct. But if you give them space, if you let them fly completely free, no guilt trips, no tracking, they always come back. They'll return on their own to a place that feels like a home base, not a cage. It's because you're children of the air. And think about it. What happens when air can't move? It gets stale. It's not air anymore. It's suffocation. For you, freedom and movement and change, they aren't just things you want. They are literally how you breathe.
So, how does all this quick-witted, restless energy play out with other people? Well,
That brings us to our final trait for today, and it's a big one, this powerful two-edged weapon we call charm. Now, we're not talking about just being nice. This is an active, powerful skill. The sources call it persuasion power, or mental karate. It's your ability to use your words and your wit to totally twist a situation, get what you want, and completely captivate a room.
But like any good weapon, it's got two edges. On one side, you have this incredible charm that could talk a snake out of its own skin. But on the other side, you have a tongue sharp enough to just kill a room. And that can be with a brilliant joke that has everyone roaring, or with a cutting remark that brings dead silence.
And here's the thing. It's always a conscious choice. This is never accidental. And 9 times out of 10, you choose charm. Why? Simple. Charm opens doors. And for a Gemini, who lives to find out what's behind the next door, charm is the ultimate master key. And that powerful charm weapon brings us to the end of this section, looking at what really drives you. So we've now covered 8 of the 12 traits that make you so you. We've looked at the person the world sees, and now we've gone underneath to explore those deep currents, that insatiable curiosity, that forever young spirit, that absolute need for freedom, and that powerful charm. But we're not done yet. Oh no! In part 3, we're going even deeper, into the really complex, hidden parts of the Gemini soul. We're going to get into the other side of things, the hidden depths, the journey, the whole transformation. So the only question left is, are you ready for the final 4? We'll see you then.